Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to take a look at non-traditional product life cycles. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of a unicycle. Yes, that zany, crazy, one-wheeled contraption that some people use to get around. It is very, very different. It is very, very unique. It is non-traditional. So today we are going to take a look at this in terms of marketing, non-traditional product life cycles. Please get out your pen and paper. Make sure you follow the STORM philosophy for taking notes, and sit back and enjoy. First things first though, what are we going to take a look at? Well, we are going to connect this idea of non-traditional product life cycles back to product development. We're then going to take a look at 4 non-traditional product life cycles: fads, trends, niche markets, and seasonal markets. So the idea here is that the product development process goes through 8 stages. The final stage is market entry. Products then enter the market. Their product life cycle therefore begins. But some products do not follow the typical product life cycle. Some are just a little unique. The typical product life cycle goes through the 4 stages over a fairly long period of time. It's introduced to the market, it grows, it matures, it then goes into decline, and then a decision point has to be made. During this product life cycle, sales will start off slow and then gradually increase to a point where it then decreases. But again, this takes a fairly long period of time. For some products, this is not typical. For some products, this cycle is very, very different. Their sales increase and decrease at a much different rate. So for these unconventional products, how do their product life cycles look? Some products are just a little too different to be categorized as traditional. Some products are just a little too unique, and their life cycles are therefore highly unordinary. These products are what we term fads, trends, niche markets, or seasonal markets, and their life cycles look a heck of a lot different than the traditional model. So the first non-traditional product are what we call fads. Now I think we can all safely say that we have at one point in time or another purchased a product in which it was a fad. Now at the time we probably thought this product was amazing, revolutionary, so unique that it would never go away. Well, we were saddened by the loss of products such as the Koosh and Furby and Power Rangers and Silly Bands and Chia Pets. These products were fads. Their popularity was extremely high, but for a very brief period of time. They became unpopular just as quickly. These types of products are very unpredictable. Marketers don't really know what they're getting into with these products. They think that they will be very, very popular, and they hope that these products will last for a fairly long period of time. But they don't. And so marketers and companies can make and lose a lot of money with fads. It can be very, very profitable, but can be just as unprofitable. And therefore fads are often very, very risky. And so compared to the traditional product life cycle that you see on green, a fad product life cycle rises extremely quickly, but drops just as quickly. Movies, books, songs, artists, television products, all of these things are typically fads. We all at one point or another get latched onto various fads. We think that these are going to last for a very long period of time, but they don't. If marketers can get out of the fad market right at its peak, then they stand to gain a lot of money. However, if they hold on just a little too long and they suffer that decline, they will lose just as much money potentially as which they made. The next non-traditional product is what we call trends. Now we often refer to fashion in terms of fashion trends, and these are your best example of trends. Trends are slightly different from fads. They have a little more lasting effect on the market. They stick around for a little longer than a fad. Oftentimes trends are mass movements, so a large number of people latch onto this style or product, and therefore they become a trend. And oftentimes trends are composed of a number of products. Back in the 60s, the hippie movement was a bit of a trend. Currently we see fashion trends coming at us, well, fairly regularly. And we see a lot of people latching onto various different trends. How about organic food? Is this a trend? Is this a fad? Is it going to be a normal, traditional product life cycle? Time will tell. But many products will fall into the trend category. And so trends, as compared to the traditional product life cycle, shown in green, are slightly longer than fads, but still a lot shorter than a traditional product life cycle. They rise and they fall in a shorter period of time. The trick for marketers is to anticipate trends, is to create products slightly before the trends happen. If you can do this as a marketer, you will capitalize on the popularity, enter the market time at the right time, and realize huge profits, and potentially become industry leaders. The idea is to forecast these trends, and so when we see fashion weeks happening in Toronto and Paris and London and around the world, these are all trying to illustrate maybe the next great trend. And marketers pay close attention to these trends, especially if they are a fashion industry. The third non-traditional product life cycle is what we could call niche markets. These niche products have a very short growth period, kind of like a fad. However, they have a long-lasting maturity stage. So they rise very quickly, flatten out, and then they maintain their sales over a very long period of time. Why this happens is because they are catering to a very small market, so target market. There's very little competition in this market, and they cater towards a very specific group of consumers who will continuously come back to purchase those products. Skateboarding, scrapbooking, photography, all of these are niche markets. They are very specific lifestyles that very specific consumers buy into. And so niche markets, as compared to the traditional product life cycle, rise quickly and then bottom out. So they never hit that high sales volume that traditional products receive or earn. They don't hit that high sales volume that even fads or trends receive. However, they do last over a long period of time. So in this case, it's kind of like the quantity over quality. If you can just maintain a quality product that caters to a very specific consumer, you can make up that sales difference because your product will last over a long period of time. And so the trick to marketing towards a niche market is to come up with a product that is very unique, very different, caters to a very specific type of consumer, and then maintain your industry presence in that market. The last non-traditional product life cycle is a seasonal market. Seasonal markets are kind of like fads in a way. They have extremely high, quick growth periods. They then drop very quickly. But this is all because of the season. Think about this. Do you eat ice cream in the winter? Do you go skiing in the summer? No. You eat ice cream in the summer, and so the growth of ice cream in the summer rises very quickly, but then falls off just as quickly when winter comes around. How about ski resorts? As soon as the snow falls, people will line up at the closest ski resort, and they will grow over the course of the season. But as soon as the melting happens, these consumers stay away. And so the sales of these ski resorts drop off considerably. And so the seasonal product life cycle is a series of waves. It rises and falls and rises and falls according to the season. So think about snowboarding. The winter season, that sales hits the peak and then drops off. And then the next winter comes around and goes right back up and then drops off, and so on and so forth. So marketers understand this. They anticipate this drop off. And then they prepare themselves for the next season and hope that maybe they can generate even more sales. And that's really the trick here. You know you're going to rise and fall with the season. But the trick is to rise even higher the next season. Make your product even more popular for the next season. Come up with new products to do this. And then, again, wait for the season to come back around before you do it again. And so this brings us to the end of this video. What's the difference between a fad and a trend? Think about it. Can you identify a current market trend? What makes it a trend? What indications are there that it won't last? Look at the students in the school. Are they demonstrating some of these trends? How do you know it's not going to last? So try and answer these questions. Make sure you have summarized this video. Make sure you've added discussion questions for class. And we will see you tomorrow.